Oh, welcome in. Happy Tuesday here. It is in-season tournament time in the NBA, and we have got you covered. Nice slate of games, 8, in fact, on tap. And certainly some of these games mean a little something to these teams trying to battle for that wild card spot or trying to wrap up their group. A lot to go over here tonight. We'll have some best bets. We'll hear from the contrarian gods. And as always, we'll see if we can't cash a few tickets along the way. And good news is we've got 3 of the best here at WagerTalk.com to talk some NBA as R1L in the house here. Look at that. RC in the house. Also happens to be the $2 handicapper here today. And little birdie told me there might be a 5% play available for $2 at his page right now at WagerTalk.com. And the prop god, Andy Lang, together. Looking to put together a couple of winning tickets for you here tonight. And, of course, we'll start with the contrarian gods who, no doubt, have looked at this schedule and said, yeah, why? Why, Nets? We're not going to do it. It's the Toronto Raptors getting 2 here. Although, rumor has it, the Nets are going to make 733 threes in this game and never make a 2. And that seems to be the direction they're going. But the contrarian gods think, maybe those threes aren't going to fall as easily as they have been. Raptors +2 for the gods, Merrill. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, all the Nets needed was to play a 300-point game, lose by 2, and that catapulted them to back-to-back wins and covers the last 2 games. That's the recipe for success in the modern NBA, I guess. I agree with the contrarian gods here. This line has dropped from 2 down to 1.5, and I agree with the move. I think the Nets are a live dog, to say the least. I'm sorry, the Raptors are a live dog, to say the least. I'm not a believer in this Nets squad still. And the concern, obviously, is Toronto's defense, and he talked about all those threes. And, yes, it could happen again. Toronto's given up 48% shooting on the road this season. 35% from 3 is about average, though. And I think they match up okay in this game. So, yeah, no problem playing what I think is a live dog tonight in the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing here, Ronald, what they have done and how hot they have been from 3. And, you know, they don't miss any of the wide open threes looks that they get. They do a great job of getting some rebounds, getting another chance to make a 3. It's just been a hell of a run, but how sustainable is that? Are you in agreement with the contrarian gods that maybe a little defense spells the end to that crazy run here for the Nets?
Yeah, I think we do see some regression from the Nets offense here. I know they've been covering machines. It's at 12-3-1 ATS on the season, but this is the 3rd game in 4 nights for them. I know they haven't had to travel or anything like that. This isn't a second leg of back-to-back games, but they've been catching some teams in bad spots. I think 2 of their last 3 wins, their opponents were on the second leg of back-to-back games. And then the last one they won was against the Bulls, who've been kind of terrible lately. So I mean, not really a big surprise there. And so some of these numbers that they've been putting up offensively could be a little bit misleading, in my opinion. I know the Raptors, they have a huge game coming up against the Suns tomorrow, but I think this line, it's kind of tricky. You would think the way that these teams have been playing, you would see a bigger line for the Nets here, but there isn't. And I think it's the books telling us something here. This is not something I have in my pocket. I'm not going to be betting this game, but I'm not going to be going against the contrarian gods here. I think they see something, and it could be, like I said, I think some of these numbers are a little bit misleading on the net side. They've just been catching teams in bad spots here. So, yeah, I could back the Raptors here.
All right, Raptors, it is there, and I do believe Cam Thomas is out at this point here. Claxton was questionable, but looks like he is going for the Nets. But what do you think, Andy? Is there some shooting regression in the future for the Nets here? Are you in agreement with the contrarian gods?
Yeah, if I want to throw out something that makes me a touch worried about this game, the Raptors on the road, I mean, not very good. You know, on Sunday, they lose at Cleveland, 105-102. They do beat my Pacers, but they give up 131 points. Before that, they get boat raced by Orlando, give up 126 points, lose big at Boston. They do beat Dallas, but then they need overtime to beat San Antonio. They get beat pretty handily by Philly, and then they lose in overtime to Chicago. So the road has not been a friend for the Toronto Raptors. That being said, yeah, I'm just not a believer in this Nets team. Anytime you can get plus money against one of these teams, just kind of in the middle, I don't know. I just don't want to. I don't want to lay any points with kind of middle of the road teams. So yeah, me and the contrarian gods, we've kissed and made up. We've had our differences the last couple times I was on the show. But yeah, give me the Raptors tonight. I do have a player prop for this one, but it is my best bet for the show. So stay tuned at the end of the show. I'll give out that one.
All right. Well, there you go. Off and running here with the gods in agreement that Toronto Raptors may be a live dog here tonight. And of course, if you are somebody that is joining us here for the very first time, welcome in. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the WagerTalk TV family as we have content every day of the week for you, whether it be these NBA head-to-head matchups on a daily basis, college basketball, college football, NFL, NHL. We've got you covered. So hit the subscribe button, become part of that family. And those of you lunatics that are joining us live here each and every day, go ahead, smash that like button. You know the routine here as we take a look at a featured matchup tonight. And we know the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings should deliver on some excitement here tonight. So we'll kick it back to you, Merrill. Tell us what you're thinking about this. Is revenge on Sacramento's mind there for getting bounced out by Golden State last year? Are they healthy enough to get it done? What are you thinking?
Right, well, they can get their revenge for being eliminated right from the playoffs by winning the in-season tournament matchup. I'm sure these guys care a lot about this stuff, and it's just I'm not a believer in this in-season. It smells a little bit too much like soccer. No offense, Andy Lang. I know Andy Cash is in soccer, but no. On a serious note here, I mean, if it's a playoff atmosphere, we look unders, right? And this line has dropped a couple points from the opener, 238.5 down to 236.5. I would actually probably agree with that move. I think we could see a little bit more defense than expected. And look, you don't need much defense to stay under 236.5. So instead of looking at the side, I'll look at the total here. Sacramento obviously was like the Indiana Pacers last year, all over, is fast pace. Not quite as much this year. They are playing more defense, and they've actually gone under now 3 of their last 4 games. And the offense has been cooling off. This is a team that shot over 50% for 4 straight games. They've shot 44.5% or worse in 2 of their last 3. So that would not bode well tonight. But then again, do you really want Golden State, a team that has not covered the spread since the first week of November? So I'm going to look at the total instead. I like under 236.5.
All right, like in 236.5 here. I believe Draymond is back tonight, RC. Is he not? A little sabbatical, a little early season sabbatical here. But I think the last time these guys played, I don't think De'Aaron Fox was back yet for Sacramento. So, all right, everyone's healthy, everyone's back. What gives here tonight?
Yeah, my best bet is actually on this game too, and it's on the total. So I'll talk about the side here. I know these two teams are pretty, they match up pretty well. I think similar offensive rating, similar defensive rating, similar pace. So they should be 2 comfortable teams here as far as game flow goes. But like you said, De'Aaron Fox missed the last game. I think the Warriors actually have won both matchups so far this season. Both of the games went under as well. I think it's just a matchup type thing where the Kings, most of their points come from the 3 ball, and the Warriors are a top 10 3-point defense. I think they're exactly 10th actually, as far as allowing opponents 3-point percentage. So this could be a matchup thing. I know they have bad blood against each other. Draymond coming back in could help with the offensive flow again. Obviously he brings that defensive intensity as well. The only thing for me as far as taking the side here on the Warriors side is really just how much they've been struggling offensively lately. I think they've gone under their team total in 7 of their last 9 games. 1 game went over because of OT. The other game went over because they were facing a tired team that was on the second leg of back-to-back games. So I'm not too sure I can trust their offense yet. But the situational spot for the Kings is something that I typically fade. They're on the first game home off a 6-game road trip. And historically, that's a spot where the home team tends to struggle offensively. So if you look at last year too, it holds true in recent years. last year, home teams in the spot 8-3 to their team total under. So this is typically a fade spot for a team like the Kings. So from a side perspective, I would lean towards the Warriors side, but I'll talk about the total later as a best bet.
All right, good stuff there. What about it, Andy? I know you got to have a prop bet or two in this one for us here, but are you leaning one way or the other?
Yeah, this Warriors team on the road, I heard a great analogy. Is like when someone invites you out in your 20s, you're like, "Yeah, I'll go to the club." Absolutely. But then when you get in your 30s and your 40s and they're like, "Would you like to go out?" and you're looking outside and you're like, it's 35 degrees. I think I'll just stay home. And that's what this Warriors team is like on the road, man. They just like they're the old guys that they just got to struggle on the road. You know, they just lost to Phoenix, lost to Denver. They beat Detroit. Congratulations, but lost to Cleveland. So there's just some really weird road split things going on with this Warriors team. And the most bizarre one that I just cannot figure out is the road to home splits for Klay Thompson. 17.9 points that he averages per game on the road, 12.8 at home. Makes no sense. He's so much better on the road this year. So yeah, let's take Klay Thompson over 16 and a half. Like when he plays at home, he goes under. When he plays on the road, he goes over. His last road game he played, season high, 23 points against the Suns, 6 of 10 from three-pointers. I just when the Golden State Warriors are on the road, I look at Klay Thompson, I just take his points over. I don't understand why he's so much better on the road, but the numbers don't lie. So yeah, let's take road Klay Thompson here to go over his point total.
Road Clay, it is here for Andy tonight. Golden State and the Kings will be your late night degenerate special there. All right, now RC had mentioned he does have a best bet on a total side, but we'll focus on a total in a game here tonight. It is our overtime section, and we're going to look at the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves here. 228.5 is what we're seeing. Now, the interesting thing here is this thing opened up 225.5. You would think when we're talking about Minnesota, we'd be looking at defense, and, well, the market says, continues to rise here. So what are you thinking, Merrill? You in agreement with the market? Is it simply an over or pass spot for you? Oh, this is the miming hour. I think this is where we get to the mime. What Merrill's saying. Go ahead.
It was muted.
I'm more worried
about
you go.
Again. I'm so worried about them now that I've neglected the. This has been a. Stevie needs a computer for Christmas, by the way, if Santa Claus is watching, because this thing is driving me crazy. Anyway, as I was miming, for those of you that don't speak mime, I know Joe does. I was saying that Minnesota is the most efficient defense in the league this year. Yet we see this total go 3 points higher, as Joe accurately pointed out. And so it is a contrarian call here, I think, over with Minnesota. They're a good offensive team as well overall. And I do think this game will have some pace tonight. So I do agree with the total move. If I was looking to play the over, that would be the way to go in this one. This is an Oklahoma City shooting 50% from the field, 4 straight games, 49 the game after that, and then a 43.5 against Philly. I think they get that back up to the 50% mark tonight. I know it's a tough task against a really good Minnesota defense, but T-Wolves can shoot the ball as well. They've put up basically 110 plus almost every single game this season, and I think they both get to that range tonight. We need them to get to about 115 to probably get this over. I think both teams can get there.
All right, trusting in the over tonight with this one. Kind of hard with Minnesota, right? They feel like they're one of the few teams remaining that actually brings it defensively, RC, on a nightly basis. And this has obviously got some implications for the in-season tournament. But what are you agreeing? I mean, I'm starting to see 229s popping up now. So is it just over or not for you?
No, I actually am looking towards the under in this one. I know the line movement is going up to 229, but I feel like it's just the wrong way here. You mentioned how these teams do defensively. The Thunder are actually the best road defense in the league. Their defensive rating on the road is 104.2, and the next best team is the Magic at 107.5. So there's a little bit of a gap there that says that they're really, I mean, not anyone really that close as far as road defense. they're allowing just 105.1 per game on the road. Opponents 6-1 to their team total under against the Thunder in that spot as well. And then the one team that went over because they went to OT. And then on the opposite side, the Wolves, the best home defense in the league, 100.9 points per game they're allowing at home. Opponents 7-1 to their team total under in that spot as well. I know the Thunder are already out of the in-season tournament. The Wolves, they do have a chance, but I think based on the point differential, it's probably unlikely that they get there. So I think this is one of those games where they just, to me, they're not going to have to run up the score. I think this is going to be more of a playoff atmosphere type game. So I'm expecting defenses to show up on both sides. I think the total, like I said, going the wrong way. I do like the under in this spot here.
All right, liking the under, going contrarian there. How about you, Andy? Anybody in particular you're associating props and the total with?
Yeah, I agree. I kind of lean to the under here too. If you take kind of a shorter sample size, I know we look at like full season, but I'm just looking at the last 5 games. You've got the Timberwolves 6th best defensive rating and the Thunder 8th best. So these are 2 top 8 teams. So when I looked at some of these player props, I am really interested in trying to take someone under, and the guy that jumps out is Kyle Anderson. His points, rebounds, and assists is 16.5. And I don't really understand why it's this high. This is a guy who has gone over this total one time in the last 10 games, 11 games. He's not getting it done. Yeah, he's really not getting it done. 15, 9, 14, 16, 11, 15, 13. Like, I don't know. It's just not happening for him. So I'm really surprised to see this number this high. So if I like the game to go under, I'm looking at player props to go under, and Mr. Slow-Mo is not getting it done in the PRA department. So I'll take the under.
All right. Looking at the under there, Mr. Slow-Mo. I like that there. All right. So we got some contrarian plays. We got some totals, featured matchup. Now it is time to see what the dogs and what dogs actually may be barking here tonight, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, we got some barking here tonight, it feels like. Well, except for the Hornets. But the Hawks are on there, as are the Raptors we talked about. The Rockets, you got the Heat. Again, no Jimmy Butler there. I believe the Bulls, shocker. OKC is a dog in that Minnesota game, and the Warriors are a small dog in that game against Sacramento. So a little something for everybody in tonight's dog list here, Merrill. So if you were leaning one way, which one of these dogs might be barking for you tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to revisit the contrarian call. I agree with the Raptors. We see that line drop from 2 down to 1.5, even 1 at some of the sharper books today. I agree with that money move, and I think they're a live dog, as I mentioned earlier in the show. And I do think the Nets are due to regress. That's another reason I like Toronto. The other thing I didn't point out when we talked about this earlier is that Toronto coming off a bad game, yes, their last time out, but they've been shooting the ball pretty well before that. In fact, they'd gone over 50% shooting 4 straight games. They went 3-1 straight up in ATS in those 4 games. And now they had a 41.5% clunker against Cleveland. So I actually think it's a bounce back spot. I think Brooklyn's looking to regress. I think it's a play on spot for Toronto. And they are a live dog tonight, plus the 1.5. I'd play them to win outright.
All right, there you go. Another vote for the Raptors here tonight. RC, $2 Tuesday handicapper here. If you had a dog barking tonight, who would you be looking at?
I'm going to be looking at the Rockets here. I think not only cover, but they should. I feel like they could win this game. They are 10-0-1 in their last 11 games against the spread, so they just continue to be undervalued. I know the Mavs have been struggling recently in their last 3 games. 25th in offensive rating, 29th in effective field goal percentage. They just been struggling to score against teams that aren't that great defensively. So, for me, the Rockets, they're in a position to win this game here, in my opinion. I think it's the situational spot in the in-season tournament says that they have to win and try to win by margin. So, and then I think the Dallas Mavericks are not. I think they're eliminated from the in-season tournament, so they don't really have much to play for. So this just means a lot more to the Rockets. I know the defensive side of the ball is where my focus would be. I think I talked about it on Wager Talk today. Mavs team total under is a spot, and I think this play is correlated with it. Rockets have at least this season when the Rockets have at least a day of rest. Opponents are 10-2 to their team total under. One game that went went over because of OT. So their defense is probably the key to this game here. And for the way that they're going to have to win by margin is limiting this Mavs team. So I think that's the way to go for the dog.
Well, they should really just play 3-on-3 since there's really only 3 dudes who score for Dallas at this point. So it's like, what's the point of having anybody else on the court if it ain't Kyrie, Doncic, or Hardaway? It doesn't really damn matter there. So we got a suck up to our producer Robert there with RC looking at the Rockets. Well done. Which probably means the buzzer is going to stop working when we get the best bets here. Andy, talk to us here, my man. Some opportunities to back some dogs on the card here tonight. Is there one that stands out to you?
Yeah, shout out to Professor Chris in the chat. He's mentioned he's on the Hawks. I like the Hawks +4 as well. Not a big believer. Yeah, not a big believer in this Cleveland Cavaliers team. 9-8. They beat Toronto by 3, but before that, lose to Miami. I got crushed by Miami. Then lose to Lakers, and that Lakers loss, I don't know. This Lakers team is struggling right now. So not a lot of impressive wins. You know, they beat Portland and Detroit and Denver without Jamal Murray. I'm not really sure they should be laying this. And I know that the Hawks they've got a little bit of a difficult schedule here. So they were Saturday at Washington. They take care of business. And then just no-win situation, back-to-back at Boston. So they dropped that one, but they have a day off, and there's a lot of stats out there that show that Trey is really, really good on just one-day rest. So they've got a nice little stretch here where they're at Cleveland tonight, then at San Antonio Thursday, and they're at Milwaukee. So they're getting days rest in between there. I think they could rip off some road wins here. They are obviously like top 2 in worst defensive rating, but top 2 in best offensive rating. This Cleveland team, last 5 games, 23rd in defensive rating. So I think the Hawks can push this pace. I think they can make it a little bit uncomfortable for them. I expect it to be a close game. So if it's close, yeah, I'll take the 4 points.
All right, that's it. Take the points with the Hawks here tonight. Oh, Donovan Mitchell just missed another 12 shots. All right, gentlemen, let's do this here. We have, it is our best bet time. You guys know how it works. And if you don't, you're new to us, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, become part of this Wager Talk TV family. And what we do is give the guys 60 seconds on the clock. They can do whatever the hell they want with it as long as they drop us a best bet in it. So nobody does the clock and props quite like R1L Steve Merrill. So where are we going here tonight, Merrill? 60 seconds. It's all yours.
Going to go to the NBA for a free play tonight on Tuesday. And this is a game which saw some sharp money this morning on the total. And I actually agree with the move. A little bit of a contrarian call in the total. I'll get that for you here in just a moment. Quick reminder, red hot in basketball, 31-point college basketball blowout winner last night on Monday. I now turn my attention to a moneymaker Tuesday night NBA style that's available on my page right now. I'm up 30 net games in the NBA in 2023 alone, going back to January 1st. Number 1 NBA sides the 2 years before that, up over 150 units. Strong NBA side tonight for Tuesday. Check it out on my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Free over-under for tonight on Tuesday. Celtics Bulls over the total. And I know that's a contrarian call because the Bulls are not a good offensive team, but they're an equally worse defensive team. Second worst defensive rating in the league over the last 5 games defensively. I think the Celtics can go off tonight. It's a big spread. We're going to look for some garbage points in the second half from both squads. Celtics Bulls over 219.5. Tips off at 7:40 Eastern tonight on Tuesday.
Boom. That is how you do it here, guys. All right. We got one best bet in the books here, Mr. Kabang. You are also the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk.com, which means you got a 5% best bet available right now in the association tonight on your page. 60 seconds, my man. Give us a best bet. What are you looking at here tonight?
Yeah, before we get into that best bet, like you said, $2 Tuesday, a rare 5% play for me since the beginning of the 2022 year. No one at Wager Talk has a better win rate for 5% spreads than me, hitting 73% since then. So hopefully you guys You like that stat there? 73% is a pretty good number. $2 Tuesday play again is a 5% spread. Going back to that total, the Warriors and the Kings, I do like the under in this one. These two teams match up pretty well. Like I said, in 4 straight matches since last year, they've gone under in that game in their matchups. Two situations says this should be an under game as well. One, this is the first game home off a 6-game road trip. Historically, the home teams struggle offensively in that spot. Second is the in-season tournament. Kings just need to win to lock up the group. They don't need to focus on winning by margin. On the opposite side, Warriors are going to need to win and win by margin, which means they're going to need to play some defense in this one. So this is pointing towards the under 236.5.
All right, just like that, under it is here, and that leaves us with Mr. Andy Lang, the prop god, no doubt, has a couple of ready-made, ready-to-go, cashable props here on his page tonight. Andy, 60 seconds. Tell us about it. What's your best bet here for the show?
Well, we ran the annual Thanksgiving special last week. It was 7 days, instant discount down to $69, and it was a smash hit. Starting on Monday, we went 14-6 across all sports. So the fine folks at the office are going to let me run it again. So you just need to use the promo code LANG7, LANG7. Get you 7 days for $69. We're on a 27-9 all sports run. Best bet is up in NHL. Listen, it's $2 Tuesday, so before you use that promo code, go get Ronald's $2 Tuesday play. Like it's an awesome play. Let's support the family here and let's cash with Ronald tonight. Yeah, I'm feeling it, Ronald. Best bet is just Mikal Bridges under his points total, which is 24.5. He's only gone over 3 times this game or this season, and the teams that he's gone over against, Atlanta in overtime. He went over against Washington and Milwaukee, 3 of the worst defenses in the league. That's the only time he can go over his point total. Toronto, 12th best defensive team. Take Mikal Bridges under his points.
Boom! Mikal Bridges under his points, and there you got it here, guys. Got some contrarian plays. We got a total. We got some best bets. We got a little something for everybody here tonight. 8 games on the slate in-season tournament, trying to take shape here. So some interesting spots across the board this week. We'll, of course, be back again tomorrow, but don't forget, opportunity presents itself to get a couple of winning plays tonight. You just heard Steve tell you, you heard Andy, and, of course, Ronald with his $2 Tuesday. Best bet, 5% in the association tonight. No reason not to make it a profitable Tuesday. And make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow. Of course, we got much more NBA to break down. And until then, why don't you go ahead and hit that video on your screen right now if you want more head-to-head matchups, previews, and other best bets. They are just a click away. Check it out by hitting subscribe, like, and the video, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Good luck, guys. We'll see you soon.